Right, everybody. Another amazing guest on today. This is my fourth episode of doing this, so we're absolutely flying through them. Loved every single minute of them. Looking forward to loads more. And the guy we have on today is absolutely great guest. And as always, thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for obviously Callum for jumping on. So just gonna go straight into this and let you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and also why you're doing it. So the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Finian. Thanks for having me on. Great privilege, so it is. So my name's Callum, like you said. Uh, Currently a master's degree in performance analysis at UCFB in Manchester. Um, Intern at Rochdale AFC as well as an analyst as well. Coaching on the side with little kickers, so all over the place. Really, why am I doing that? I think purely from my undergrad degree back in Ireland and we did a football degree back there, football coaching and business. But the analysis module really stood out to me. It really like grasped my attention. I was like, right, that's a bit of me. So decided to explore, see what was out there, and I think no brainer come over in England at the minute, just with the
Yeah,
state of opportunities back home, like um, like there's loads of coaching rules back home, grassroots level, but there's nothing know, top level stuff at the minute anyway. So yeah, just that my interest, that module, and here I am.
excellent. And like I can kind of guess, but there's obviously some kind of football background growing up. Like you're not just doing this because it's a job, but or maybe you aren't. But like you obviously you like football and you like doing what you do. So is that a part of your why as well?
I think so. Like whenever I got asked, "Oh, what are you doing in Ulster back home?" and it was like, "I'm doing football," and they're like, "What? So why are you doing that?" And I was like, "Well, it's the only thing I'll really get out of bed for, to be honest. Like only thing that's like grasping my attention." I was like, "Yeah, I want to do that." Do you know what I mean? Like I was sat in A levels, and teachers were asking me, what do you want to do?" I was like, "I have no clue. Can I go kick a ball?" And that was it. So managed to find a degree that was football related. So yeah, I'd say that's part of why is because I love it. I know it's so cliche.
Yeah. No, good.
Might have lost you again. You back? There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm back. I'm back now. It's all good. And what what sort of goals then do you see yourself having? It can be said like football related or life related. It could be anything. But is there, say, one big goal out there? And like it can be something outrageous. It can be like I want to be the analyst for Northern Ireland. I want to be a manager for Manchester United. What is there one?
You've took one on my.
Yeah,
So the analyst for the like Northern Ireland or Ireland, really, that would be an achievable big one, in my opinion. Like kind of back myself to go there and say, look, I've got all these degrees and all this experience. Give me a shot, you know what I mean? But that would be a big one. And then something we've bonded over, I I think would be a huge one. Ajax would be a massive one. Working for them at
yeah,
any capacity, academy level, first team level, that's like the dream. I think.
nice. And would say like would moving to now I know like I've been over to Holland numerous times and like they speak English, but um would moving to a country abroad that doesn't speak English, would that be a challenge for you? And like, would that be something that you wouldn't mind being a challenge?
No, not like I wouldn't mind it. Like while I've been here, I've applied for overseas internships. I think there was Midtjylland,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Denmark. I think it is. There was one there which I for and didn't get unfortunately, but that would have been. again, me probably speak English, so would have been a challenge, definitely. I don't think the language would put me off. I think it would be a challenge, like you said, but it wouldn't definitely not put me off. Definitely not.
Nice. And why do you think why are you so open-minded in a sense? Because or like uh, I know a lot of people are like really comfortable. So say obviously like I've grown up in Ireland and like that I'd easily move abroad. You've grown up in the north and you're now over in England. So like you've already made your jump. But did you kind of, was that something you always knew of? Or were you like, well, I need to go and be open-minded to potentially have the best route to where I want to get there?
Yeah, I think that was huge in my choice to move to Manchester, especially. Like back home, like I said, there's not many opportunities, even to like get a step up, if that makes sense, or in somewhere. There's only a handful of clubs back home. So I think it was no brainer coming over here. It was a huge challenge for me personally, like getting up and just moving by myself day
Yeah.
one. I've been to Manchester a few times, obviously, United fan, loved it. But I mean, ever since here, been rubbish. But
Yeah.
moved over here, it was, yeah, big because as well. So I don't get as much funding from student finance and stuff. So I had to take on retail jobs, working for Sainsbury's, working for Tesco's, 40 hours a week, and then trying to get some football stuff related in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I think it was Saturday morning or Saturday night, and there was games on, sitting watching it on the phone behind the till in Tesco's, and being like,
Yeah.
what am I doing here? I decided to quit and just apply for whatever job. If it had football in the title, it was a football coach, football analyst, free. I think it ended up doing one coaching with a company called Calculated Performance. So that was another challenge, but I'll take it because it's football. That's huge. What else? Like ended up started working for Little Kickers as well, and that was really good. I'm still there now. So yeah, just like taking that jump of right, get rid of the retail and apply for anywhere, everywhere. And that would be something I would definitely recommend to anyone.
Brilliant. And why, like, I totally agree as well. Like, 100% go and jump and take a risk. But no, like, for me, I see it as like, saying like a calculated risk because you're applying for jobs that you love. So that's why I'd say it's not like a massive
Feels
risk.
that way.
Yeah, yeah, I know it does, but why would you encourage people to take that risk?
I think because yeah, I think you're gonna look back on your life in 10, 15 years, like, oh, maybe that's at the point where I might do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. And it just steamrolls from there. But I think calculated risk, I think you're right. I think that's an important word. Um, because I have, you know, a decent amount of money saved up to be able to do that. I don't. Um, so it was kind of like I'll take the next 4 months. I'm set for this for food, for rent, or whatever, and let me just apply for everywhere.
Yeah, super. And then what sort of challenges? I'm sure I know you've talked about a few, but has there been, say, like you're now working in a professional football club? Has there been challenges to get to that stage from maybe say go back maybe 4 or 5 years when you started university, has there been challenges from say day one to be like, I want to go work in a football club to where you are now, and what have they been?
Um, I think going back to like grassroots coaching at Newton Bruda, it's a team in the north. I think I went in there as placement just after quit, and it was like I had no real coaching experience. I only really played, and I had you know my undergrad degree stuff under my belt, but it was from a placement year. we were promised to go to like China for 6 months to coach or go with a
Wow.
national team because the degree was in with IFA. But obviously, COVID hit, that went. So going into like my local corner from my house, freshly 19, I'd been stuck in the house for the past year, and it's like go and coach. You're like,
Yeah.
so that was tough because it's like you're trying to coach men who's played and they're 30 years old and they've played all their lives at that level, and you're coming in with a Pep Guardiola and they're like, go away. So I think the first few weeks of that was rough, but I think that I realized, what to do and what not to do. That was a huge thing. So taking that to now, I can go into a professional environment and realize, you know, what people are expecting and what they're not expecting.
Brilliant. I think even the same for me. Like when I first went into in the Shamrock Rovers, I was in the academy, and I was only saying this to someone last week that when I first went in, you were doing a session, and it was all indoor, and it was basically in like an indoor hall, but there was a terrace above, and then for that session, you were down looking after the kids, but then there might be 20 or 30 people or parents up there looking at you. And it's like those first couple of weeks are a bit like daunting, but then sort of like you were saying, once you kind of get settled, then it
Mm.
doesn't matter for you if you're 19 and you're coaching players that are 10, 15 years your senior, or if whatever, in my case, whatever, I was in my mid 20s, and there's like ex pros up there looking down at the kids who've played League of Ireland, and they just keep on going. But just actually to touch on that, how much importance would you say it is kind of when you're in those environments to nearly zone out about what's going on outside? I like to use like the pitch is like walls, as in forget about what's going on, whether it's a game day or whether it's a training session. Forget about what's going on outside that pitch and focus on inside. But how important would that have been for you, even in your coaching journey and to where you are now doing your analysis work?
I think to be present in the moment and focus on what you need to focus on, that would, and the tactics and whatnot, whatever it is, just focus on that. I think is big. A lot of the outside influence can influence you into making poor decisions. I think
Yeah.
so overreacting. Like I used to when I used to coach the second team in Newton Breda, them, and it was, you know how it is, grassroots football, men's football. It's a lot of this, a lot of,
Yeah.
you know whatever. But like I was there to learn my trade and help the players try and play a bit better and develop my coaching. And I'd end up getting a shouting match with one of their players and lose my head a bit. And that's definitely something I've done since then. Like I think I was assistant to the first team manager the first season, and he was a bit of a yapper. He would react to stuff and bite. I think I learned
Yeah.
off that, and then slowly got it out of my game where it was like, right, just focus on what's going on the pitch, and that's it. Ignore everything else. So yeah, I think that's huge for any coach, analyst, player, whatever.
Oh, brilliant. Totally agree. And then just talk to me now about just sort of just say a typical day, or maybe even say match day -1, right, with Rochdale. What sort of roles and responsibilities do you have match day -1 to get the team ready for a Saturday or Sunday or whenever they play?
Yeah, Saturday. So like it would be usually depends really. So match day -1 would be a lot of pre-match stuff. Players would come in, you have your pre-match meeting about the opposition the next probably cover in possession, out of possession, set pieces, that kind of workflow. That would help control the presentation for that, and then obviously help build it too. And then players would go out and train. I would film the training, and I think say you've worked on a certain pressing or a certain set piece when you're practicing them, I would usually record and then use sports code to clip it, and then take it out of sports code, put it in the studio, and illustration over it, and that could be used as a tool to show them or remind them in the gym or remind them in the hotel when we're traveling away. So little things like that would be my sort of responsibility. Um, just like the 1% kind of stuff at the minute.
Excellent. And well, look, one thing I definitely would have come across and found out more about, say, working at elite level football, and you probably do, probably know this as well. But just talk to me about the sort of the amount of details that you give to players. Now, I know you're sort of basically talking about potential scenarios that can happen in a game. But I think whether you're a young coach or a young analyst starting out, I think sometimes they give so much information, and it doesn't matter if you're talking about football or if you're talking about reading or you're talking about something else that you heard today or saw today. People don't have that attention span. So, like, what sort of look? I have an idea in my head, but like, if you have a meeting, well, it's probably going on for might be maybe 15, 20 minutes of clips, if even.
Yeah, roughly. That's would be that would be a long one. I think we try and limit it to the lower end of that. I think because
Yeah,
you're right, information overload, and you'll lose half of the stuff
yeah,
if not all of it. We I manage like the players' folders, so they have folders with like pre-match, post-match sheets. So they can make notes and refer to it in the change room afterwards. So that's can mitigate it.
yeah,
But you're right, information overload is crazy. Like I think giving them is the key information sandwich. Like this, is what you need to know, need to know, need to know. Here you go, and move on.
yeah.
Um, Instead of talking about it from the first minute to the last minute of the last game. Right.
No, very good. No, I honestly, I was even kind of thinking in my head, 15 is probably a bit too long. But yeah, like you were saying,
It's tough,
oh,
you know.
yeah,
And like it's tough because we've been going Saturday, Tuesday last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's Saturday, Tuesday till the end of the season, essentially. And you might get from Wednesday off, you have Thursday for post match, and then Friday pre match, and it's like they're long sessions because you've only got one day to do it. If that makes sense.
yeah,
Whereas if you get a Saturday to Saturday, you can have your post match on Monday, nothing on Tuesday, day off Wednesday, in possession, out of possession, Thursday, Friday, and your game. Whereas because the schedule's so tight, it's boom, boom. That's the information to do it.
yeah. No, I like that. No, that's really cool advice and really cool insight from obviously from a professional setup. Now the next question leads me on to we'll probably touch on a small bit about this, but if you were to say if there was your 15, 16-year-old self was standing in front of you, they can be older, they can be younger, whatever, what what advice would you give to them to say get to where you are now? Or like would you say do this, do that? Or is there stuff you tell them maybe not to worry about? Is I don't know, is there something you can maybe one bit of information you'd give to them, or maybe it's loads of information you give to them.
Um, Thinking about this, I think I've done pretty well so far. Like there wouldn't be much change. I think maybe kick a few bad habits sooner, like going out and drinking or wasting time doing that, like sort of thing, and sit down and focus a bit sooner, like get real a bit sooner. If you know what I mean. I think talk to more people as well. Do more things like that because this was never in my nature to do stuff like this. Like go out of my
Yeah,
comfort zone that way and talk to anyone. Whereas now, since I came over to Manchester, it's pretty much for me, and I've enjoyed it. another challenge. But I think, yeah, kick a certain bad habit sooner and talk to more people.
And you just to touch on talk to more people, you probably without even thinking about that by by moving country, you nearly force yourself to do that. But like you obviously you didn't think about like when I come over to Manchester, I'm gonna talk to more people. You were just like I'm moving over to Manchester to a new environment, and then like a reaction or whatever you want to say of that is, well, I have to go meet a load of new people now.
Yeah, pretty much. That was one of the sentiments that I got first day of the induction day last year in uni. Was like talk to everyone because people in this room might try and hire you in a couple of years. Use LinkedIn and talk to anyone you can, everyone you
Yeah,
can. Because they'll they'll know someone who has a job opening. Do you know what I mean? Like standard networking. The
yeah,
bigger network you have, the more chance you have. I think an example of that would be induction day. There's a guy in my class called Matthew Lever. He was on the course. I think he was at Blackburn at the time. Then he got offered a job, full time job at York City as a recruitment analyst. I think the title was, or a scout, a head scout.
nice.
And I just by chance went up to him, said, "Oh, how you doing? My name's Callum." And he's like, "Oh, I've just started at York. Do you want to come on board to be a scout for me?" So I ended up.
Yeah,
So that was the 6 months of university was experience in scouting and just by simply saying hello to someone. So
brilliant. No, that's oh, I love that. I love and oh, I don't think people talk to enough people enough. Like if I'm on a plane or if I'm on a bus, I'll try and talk to someone because if you didn't talk to him, you wouldn't have got that opportunity. But because you did, it came. So that's
yeah,
excellent.
I think
Right.
that I think just to piggyback off of that, there's one that springs to mind when you said on a plane. I was on a plane last year to go visit family, and I think it was Ian Barraclough was on the plane, and I
Oh
didn't say
wow.
hello to him, and I should have. I might be with him wherever he is at the minute.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. Honestly, you never know. Say hello to someone, whatever, and they're like, okay, he's a nice bloke. He can talk to someone, and yeah, who knows? So no, definitely any opportunities to come up, take them. Right, the last one to finish off. Um, so a friend of mine, he says these in his workshop. So Jack Sweeney Leahy gets credit for this question, but it's what are you going to work on, or if there is something that you can work on to improve maybe your career goals, your life goals, or just improve your life in general. What is one thing that you can do between now and say next Thursday, next Friday?
I think there isn't one thing that's out of my head. I think I'm very little jobs here and there build up. Do you ever read the book Atomic Habits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very much in set. So I'm obviously full time in Rochdale internship. So I'll be doing that to the best of my ability, helping out wherever I can, trying to, improve the players and the coaching staff. Um, we're Saturday, Tuesday, so it's non-stop. I think finish my master's degree would be the next thing on the list. It's coming up this year. So I've got two more assignments and then a dissertation to finish, which I'll tell you when I'm going to do it.
It's
Haven't
gonna be
figured it.
long.
But yeah, figure that out. Finish what I'm going to do my dissertation. And I think going back on the advice I give to my younger self, it would be talk to more people. I'm going to a network event Friday, the Etihad. It's with
Oh wow.
yeah, so it's with another guy I know. He talks, he runs this working football company, and they try and help people get into the industry and to get you in the same room with people as might hire you in a few years. So go to that, yeah, and just keep going.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, honestly, the only reason I ask is just to kind of try and see if I can push people, but I know sometimes the stuff you're doing can't really be measured in a week.
Mm.
So where you are right now probably can't really be measured between now and next Friday, but maybe at the end of next Friday, after the networking event, it'll be like, okay, I went off and did my first, maybe it's your first, maybe it's not, but I did my networking event, and now I have three or four more contacts that can help me.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to like just chip away, to have something in mind and chip away would be the way I look at it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, honestly, like there was so much in there, so much details from you, which is the reason why I do this to get other people's thoughts and perspectives. So, yeah, honestly, absolutely top class having you on, and yeah, hopefully we can link up soon if I'm over in Manchester. Definitely link up soon. Be great.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, man. We'll go to a game together.
Go and support Man City instead of Man U.
No, no. I'd rather go to a soccer game in a minute, honestly.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. You still have the United connection there anyway. So anyway, look, absolutely top class. And yeah, thank you again. And I hope everyone enjoyed the listen.